relapsed on prescription drugs and ended up going to prison. I remember sitting in the front of the courtroom and looking back at my husband and children and feeling a level of sorrow I never want to experience again. And I knew that the judge was going to sentence me to the maximum sentence. And the judge said, "Ms. Lauder, I'm sentencing you to 84 months in federal prison." And then I looked back at my husband and he was crying. And I walked out of that courtroom and my life has never been the same.
You won't believe the reason she went to prison.
This was back in 2004, 2005. I would go to someone who is selling their home and ask them to sell the home at a certain price. Let's say $1.5 million. I put the home in an LLC or a joint venture agreement, and anything over and above what I sell the home for, I get back. I would try to make $100,000, and then the person that bought the home, they would get $500,000 cash back. And that's all fraud. If you say you're going to live in the home and don't, if you don't have the assets, it's considered a fraud.
But her journey didn't start here. She'd experienced addiction in the past, and also tragically had to give up a son for adoption.
I was a young single mother. I had my first child when I was 18 and my second one when I was 21. And when I found out I was pregnant again, and I was 23 years old, I felt like my son deserved better. They didn't have a father in their life, and I knew that I needed to place my son for adoption. I met a family. They were wonderful. They were there the day my son was born, and I watched them hold him for the first time. And I remember when they walked out of the room just feeling this level of emptiness I didn't understand. After I had David, I started to use drugs. First prescription drug, opiates, and then I went to street drugs, methamphetamine. My life got a lot worse, and it took years to come back from that. I had 4.5 years sober, and then I relapsed on prescription drugs and ended up getting involved in illegal real estate deals and going to prison.
It was while in prison that she felt the urge to contact her son David again.
A counselor said, "Ms. Lauder, I think you should talk about your son." I said, "I can't talk about it. It hurts too much. I can't." And finally, I opened up and I shared. And I reached out to him and I wrote him a letter.
The response shocked her. Meanwhile, her committed husband waited lovingly for her to be released from prison.
Chad was angry and hurt, and it was a really difficult thing for us to go through. But he told me that he made a decision that he would stand by me no matter what. I said, "You should leave me, you should go. You shouldn't have to stand by me through this." And he said, "No, Portia, how would I ever find anyone I love the way I love you? You're the best." 5 years later, Chad was waiting for me when I walked out of the federal prison with flowers. That's honor. That's a hero.
And her son David, who she lost for so many years, finally came home to her.
When I got home from prison, he wanted to get to know me, and that's been so beautiful. He's gotten to know my children, and it's like opening this box that's beautiful on the other side of the pain. I built a new life on that pain, and I'm grateful for the life that I have today.